Hello, my beautiful magical angels, and welcome back to my channel. We are back with yet another art I consumed video. It has been so long since I've done one of these. To be so real with you and to be so truthful with you, I have been creating art myself far more than I have been consuming, and I want to quickly touch on that before I just dive straight into the art list today because it's a pretty good one if I do say so myself. It's very magical, it's very medieval, it's very fantasy, it's very, dare I say, life-changing, especially the music section. You guys know the music is my absolute favorite. And speaking of music, I need to quickly plug what I've been creating and what I've been releasing, a full throttle, non-stop adventure of this world, this realm that I have created, and I'm talking about my beat poetry EP. It's poetry and music. It's called All Creatures in the Realm of Earth. I've been working on this for a long time. Since my last art I consumed video, I hadn't released it yet, so now it's released for you to listen to and enjoy. And if you like any of the art that I talk about and any of my art I've consumed videos, but today or any other day, then you'll probably like my art. So I will link this down below for you guys to stream and check out and listen to. What else have I been working on? What else have I been creating? Well, rapid fire list here. I created a bunch of visual videos. I have released a few of them on this channel already for Saturn Sovereignty, for Aphrodite's Garden, for Dragon Breath. And if you want the Tale of the Hair video, do let me know because she's sitting my drafts waiting to be posted. So let me know if you want that. Just working my little butt off really on all of the visuals as well. I also release a bunch of merchandise on my website if you're interested. That goes in tandem with this realm. I also made a bunch of medieval scrolls that all sold the day the EP came out. Love making these. I just want to keep making these forever and ever. Honestly, they're so satisfying to create, and I love making things with my hands as well, like physical things, so that's something I've done for a long time, but I wanted to upgrade it for this EP release, and I made them into like medieval manuscript style scrolls, which is super cool and fun. What else? Oh, these just released on my website. I just wanted to show you on camera. These are the zine versions of All Creatures in the Realm of Earth. It has all of the poems, it has some of those visuals that I was talking about here, and it's just super special. And you guys sold out of the first round of these so fast, but do not fret, these will be restocked at some point. Shout out to Moondove Studio. You guys know Moondove Studio is my graphic designer that I collaborate with on all of my poetry releases, and she's a genius. So art I've been consuming, art I've been creating. What else? I love to create with my friends. That's so true. Oh, speaking of creating with my friends, I also put on a whole show at the end of March here in LA. And my friends came out from Texas and various parts of LA to help and put it on. Shout out to Anaya, shout out to Max for creating this amazing haunted gothic theater. I have a live video from this night here on this channel of my poem Dragon Breath. If you want to check that out, I will have all of that linked down below. It's all on my channel. You just go peruse, go look around, go enjoy the realm. Okay, Mama has been working so hard on everything, and if you have consumed it, it'd be cool if I made your art I consumed list. I've been working really hard, and the natural consequence of that is me consuming less because I find it hard to multitask in that way, especially when it comes to reading. Like if I'm writing a lot, if I'm building my own visuals, like I'm always consuming art, but it has slowed down, I would say, because my attention has been quite split. But I still have some things to share because I'm always consuming. This is from, I think my last art I consumed video was from like October of last year, so This is a few months of accumulation of art consumption. I hope you enjoy this art list, and I'm just gonna dive right into it right now with starting with the books. What books have I been consuming lately? But diving into the books here that were both sent to me as ARCs, actually. These two poetry books are very, very different. Maybe The Body by Asa Drake. And the quote on the front, I really like this quote because I feel like it sums it up pretty nicely. It says, "Radiant, a generous offering full of flora and fury." I found this to be really fascinating as far as I found it to be very grounded in modern times. I usually gravitate towards more things that are more maybe like fantastical, maybe a little ungrounded. That's so air sign of me. But things that are maybe more in the clouds, this is more grounded in reality. And also, she's from Central Florida, okay? This is a Filipina poet that resides in Central Florida, so a lot of her poetry kind of references the hurricanes and Florida, which just makes me think of home, because that's where I'm from. It's very melancholic. I would say this is very existential, very political, modern. It's written from a woman's perspective, you know, in the deep south. So many great one-liners, so many points of this really did hit me very hard, but there was a handful of poems that were kind of a miss for me, which is pretty typical with poetry books for me whenever I read them. It's very rare that I love every single poem, especially if it's rather a large collection, but there was definitely some lines and stanzas that really caught my eye and resonated and hit me hard enough to keep going. And I enjoyed this slowly as well. I kind of read like a poem every other day, which is why I haven't read that much, because I've been slowly consuming poetry. I'd say this is more like intermediate and advanced poetry reading, whereas the next book that I'm going to recommend is, I guess, maybe better for beginners, or if you haven't read that many poetry books, then you would really like this. And if you really enjoy fantasy novels and you've never really dipped your toe into poetry, I think this would be a pretty good place to start. This is Death, Love, and Power by Sandra Izima. This is also an ARC that was sent to me by the author. Thank you so much. This really contains a lot of very gorgeous, very feminine, fantastical imagery. There's a lot of poems in here that I bookmarked. Actually, I'm gonna flip to one and just read you one so you can see. What I really enjoyed about this book is that it's actually split into 3 sections of Death, Love, and Power, aka why the title is what it is. I found that my favorite section of poems was Death, I think. Don't worry, guys, I'm not depressed. But just flipping to a random poem here that I'm gonna read to you. As the blood in the water clogs the drain, I wish I'd washed it out in the rain. My talents collect dust on a shelf, all because I'm scared to live as myself. Living for people who don't even love themselves. You know what else I really enjoyed about this? Is the little borders around the poems. The most magical, fantastical, mystical type of poetry is really my sweet spot. And the cover is also really, really pretty. Hard-hitting but simple, and a good entry-level poetry book for beginners. Yes, I know, only 2 books, okay? I really need to get back into my reading game. Honestly, my boyfriend has been just reading so much, it makes me feel like I'm behind. He really inspires me. This next month, I will be picking up reading again, and more than just poetry books. I'm really craving reading a fictional fantasy, but I'm really not into romantasy. If you have any good suggestions, and don't say Game of Thrones, because I'm not reading that. I love the show so much that I don't want that ruined for me. Anyway, speaking of Game of Thrones, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the film section of this video. What films, what TV shows have I been consuming lately? I'm actually gonna start with the TV shows since we were just talking about Game of Thrones. I guess I'll start with A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Very short. I wasn't expecting this to be as short as it was, maybe because I'm so used to the Game of Thrones world and how long the episodes are. I was like starting an episode and it was already finished. Like I literally finished this series. I actually waited for all the episodes to come out so I could binge it all at once. But I finished this so quickly, like within an afternoon. And then I was kind of sad that it was over. But also, especially the first episode, I thought was a little bit slow. Like it took me a second to really get into this, and this is much more humorous, I would say, than Game of Thrones. I mean, Game of Thrones can be humorous, but this is definitely more tongue-in-cheek. There's definitely some moments that you're like, oh yeah, of course this is in the Game of Thrones world, because it gets very brutal very quickly, it gets very gory very quickly, high stakes very quickly, which I love. I'm sad. I'm on the edge of my seat. Yeah, I didn't clarify what this was. If you didn't know, this is a prequel to Game of Thrones, not like House of the Dragon. On the timeline of Game of Thrones, this sits between House of the Dragon and the Game of Thrones timeline. Honestly, I enjoyed this so much. I thought the characters were wonderful and adorable, but did I wish that this was just House of the Dragon Season 3? Yes. I am craving House of the Dragon Season 3 so much. Oh my god. I cannot wait for that. When that comes out, I'm probably gonna yap about it incessantly in another Art I Consume video. So I'm curious as to where they're going to take this moving forward. I definitely enjoyed it. I would give it 4 stars. I think Game of Thrones is a 5-star show, except the last season. We don't talk about the last season. And House of the Dragon's like a 4.5-star show. This is like a good 4-star show. I don't think it's as good as Game of Thrones. I don't even think House of the Dragon is as good as Game of Thrones, but Game of Thrones nerds, you're probably nerding out with me. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. Egg is my favorite character. He's so cute. He's so cute. How many characters are named Aegon? Too many. Okay, now diving into the actual films. Some of these are rewatches, some of these are new watches, and a lot of these are very fantastical and medieval because, as you can probably tell, I've been in a mood. Starting with a rewatch that is a classic. It's amazing. It's literally such an amazing film, and I'm talking about Labyrinth. Okay, a classic. If you haven't seen Labyrinth, please just stop watching this video, go take an edible, and go watch Labyrinth and thank me later, okay? This film is a fever dream. It's an 80s fantasy fever dream. It's hilarious. I honestly forgot how funny this film is. No, I'm just a worm. Literally had me laughing so freaking hard. I also believe that this is one of the more stunning dark fantasy films from the 80s specifically. The costumes are so good. David Bowie is so crazy in this, but the fact that it's David Bowie and he's just so iconic in this film with his tights. If you know, you know. One of my favorite films. I rewatch it, I think, every like few years, and every time it makes me just giggle and laugh so much. Speaking of giggling and laughing, I also want to talk about Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Oh my god, this film is amazing. This film is so good. It's so funny. This is one of those films, as well as Labyrinth, that sticks out to me so much from my childhood. Like, I have such clear memories, like, watching this as a kid. And I didn't really appreciate it at the time, but rewatching it now, I'm like, oh my god, this is literally like 90 minutes of pure genius. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, if you don't know, if you haven't seen it, another film you must see, you must watch, especially if you are a fan of comedy films or parody films, but also if you're a fan of the medieval period at all. This is a film from the 70s that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, had an extremely low budget. Like, they literally just had jokes and a camera and a dream, truly, of making the best medieval parody film of all time. And it's fantastic and it's wonderful. So many moments of this make me laugh so hard. And it just holds up. It holds up in the best way. Like, it was made in that like psychedelic 70s era, and you could just tell that whoever wrote this was probably on drugs in the best way. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, it's literally ridiculous, but it's great. It's so ridiculous that it's genius. Like, the pendulum swing from ridiculous to genius, and they just hit the nail on the head. Next, another fantasy fairy tale. This one's a Cinderella retelling, one that I actually had never seen before, which feels like a crime. Like, this was actually a first watch for me because there's so many Cinderella retelling films. There's so many fairy tale retellings, but I'm talking about Ever After from the 90s. This is Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore is a national treasure, okay? And she's a national treasure in this film. I loved this, and I could not believe that I had never seen it before. So many things that I loved about it. The costume and makeup department, you deserve an award. You deserve an award. Drew Barrymore's performance in this is so memorable. She's so wonderful. Her ability to emote. You know what I found with this Cinderella, or her version of Cinderella, is that she just felt really real. Like, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, it's been a few months since I've seen this now, I'm pretty sure she like physically punches one of her stepsisters in the face. And she's the Cinderella that stood up. Stand up, queen. Stand up. Fight for yourself. And her makeup look at the ball, all of her looks are just so good. The only part of this film that I didn't really care for, like what I thought was the weakest part of the film, was the prince. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I just didn't like him. Like, I was like, why is he so mean? Like, he had such a mean vibe to him. Like there's multiple occasions where he's just so mean to her. Like how he treats her at the ball. I was like, wrap it up. Actually, Drew Barrymore, you deserve better. Her makeup look in this film for the ball, like, fundamentally changed my life. Like, I actually made my makeup look from my previous poetry show based off of her look in the film because it's just too good. It was so magical. Okay, next batch of films. More fairy tales, okay, more childhood favorites. These are rewatches for me. This is very important to me, okay? This series means something to me that I can't fully explain. Like, I know we all have those films from our childhood that are like very nostalgic, and like, I don't think you understand how much the Chronicles of Narnia means to me. This was the first fantasy series I ever like read and watched as a child, because if you probably already know this unless you're new around here, but I grew up very, very religious. I was not allowed to watch Harry Potter as a kid. Like, there was a lot of things that were not allowed in my house, but you know what was allowed? The Chronicles of Narnia. You know why? Because it's literally Christian fan fiction. I would actually say the first film is the most like Christian like, or like Christian Bible fanfiction like, out of all of them, but also the first film is the best film out of the three. So I watched the three films from the 2000s. You know the ones. The first one is a flawless, no notes film. It's dark. It's so much darker than I think a lot of the fantasy films at the time were. It touches on such heavy subjects, and I don't know if it's really that great of a film or if I'm really just operating off of nostalgia, because I remember seeing this in the theater. This is one of my earliest theater memories. Okay, this came out in 2004, I think, or 2005, something like that. I was like 5 or 6 when I saw this in the theaters, and it literally changed me. Like, it changed me. Crucifixion scene literally to this day haunts my memories. Tilda Swinton is iconic. What a perfect casting. The casting of this film is flawless. Narnia as a whole is such a mysterious place, and it's truly one that you want to get lost in, that you want to learn more about. And that's why the next two films are so disappointing, because the freaking potential that was wasted. Oh my god. Well, the second film is not as bad as the third one. The third one, we don't talk about it. Honestly, in my rewatch, I couldn't even finish the third film because it was so bad compared to the first two. The second one, it's good. It's watchable. You know, we love Prince Caspian. Like, it's watchable, but it's not as good as the first film. Like, the first film is just truly, to me, a flawless adaptation, if not better than the book. It makes me cry. Like, Narnia makes me ugly cry, and I really don't know if it is that nostalgia or if it's because it is just that freaking good. As someone with siblings, as someone that just like grew up on Bible stories, I don't know, something about it just like Literally, it's a tearjerker. It literally makes me cry, like heaving, like ugly sobs. Speaking of 1-star films, this one might be controversial. We're talking about a newer film that I saw in the theater this year on Valentine's Day, actually on a little date with the BF. I went and saw Wuthering Heights. Now, if you're new to this channel, you wouldn't know that Wuthering Heights is my favorite classic. My favorite classic novel. I would say my favorite classic bit of writing is Romeo and Juliet, which is a play. But my favorite classic novel is Wuthering Heights. It means so much to me. So obviously I had been keeping up with all of the things with the adaptation and the casting and the director. I understand why this works for some people. I understand why some people would like this. I actually think I would have enjoyed this film if I wasn't such a fan of the novel. I think that honestly ruins it for me. I honestly think I would have enjoyed this if it wasn't presented as a Wuthering Heights adaptation. Because let me tell you something. This film is not Wuthering Heights. Quite literally not the same thing. It's like very, 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 very loosely based off of the original novel, I would say. Really just the characters' names and the setting is like really the only similarity. Obviously, Emerald Fennell took a lot of artistic liberties with this film that the Puritan in me, the Bronte sisters Puritan in me just like didn't like it. Like, I'm sorry. I really did not like the casting choices. This is a whole can of worms. Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff, it robs the novel of what makes it so great, but I really don't think Emerald Fennell cared about that. Maybe in that context, it doesn't really matter if Heathcliff is white or not, but him not being white is such a huge part of the novel. So basically, that really took me out of it, and that's why I was like, okay, this is not Wuthering Heights. It's just not. You can't have, it's just not. Really, really did not enjoy Margot Robbie as Catherine. It just doesn't hit for me. I don't know, I just don't see Margot Robbie. But then again, this is me coming from the lens of really like a Puritan book lens, and that's not what this is. So you could enjoy this if you suspend your disbelief and don't really see this as a Wuthering Heights adaptation, because that's not what this is. But what I did enjoy was seeing it on Valentine's Day. I did enjoy my theater experience because I love going to the theater and I love seeing and hearing people's reactions as you watch. This was just really a mess to me. And I didn't even like the costumes. Like, everyone's like, oh, but the costumes are good. She's wearing a latex skirt. Like, why? I don't know. It just wasn't my cup of tea, okay? Maybe you loved this film. Maybe you loved it. Maybe the whole Jacob Elordi picking up Margot Robbie by her corset thing really did it for you. I'm talking about Wuthering Heights too much. Time to move on. The next film that I watched, this is another rewatch for me. I rewatched a David Lynch film. David Lynch is one of, if not my favorite creators, artists, directors. You guys know this. I rewatched Eraserhead. I rewatched it with Caleb because he had actually never seen it. I've seen it before. It's not my favorite David Lynch film, but this was one that I feel like Caleb would have really liked, so that's why we watched it. This is so Ethel Cain perverts, by the way. Like, I totally see how Ethel Cain gets her inspiration from David Lynch as well, especially in this film. But this is fatherhood horror film. Like, this is the horrors and weirdness and off-puttingness of fatherhood, which is not relatable to me personally, which is why I think this is not my favorite Lynch film. I'm pretty sure my Letterboxd review, I said something like if you feel maternal over the Eraserhead baby. This film is haunting. It's scary. Like, it's honestly not scary jump scare, but it's just like haunting, very unsettling, mysterious, like a lot of Lynch's work, very surreal. Doom, dread, doom, 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 doom. It's like this big black hole of doom, really, is what this film is, and I think it's absolutely worth the watch. If you like Ethel Cain's perverts, I don't know why I kept thinking, I would like, that would be the perfect soundtrack for this. The sound design in this film is so eerie and borderline ear-splitting. Like, some of it kind of hurt my ears, but like I know it's all intentional with the storytelling, and it's a black and white film. It's gorgeous. Next film, another rewatch. I love to rewatch this film at the height of spring each year because the cinematography and costuming here just makes me think of springtime. This is a Jane Austen adaptation. I'm talking about Emma, 2020's Emma, one of my favorite Jane Austen adaptations, if not my favorite. I love this film so much. What a great adaptation of a classic novel. Take notes, Wuthering Heights. This is how you do an artistic take on a classic novel. It pays homage to the novel in such an amazing, beautiful, gorgeous way while still taking certain artistic liberties that respects the novel. Like, it's so good. It's so good. The color palette in this film, the setting, Anya Taylor-Joy's acting, Mia Goth's acting in this, the love story is super believable. It's Clueless. It's literally Clueless. It's Clueless. Like, honestly, I saw Clueless as a child first before I ever read or watched Emma. And then when I read and watched Emma, I'm like, oh my god, it's literally Clueless. Like, it's literally Clueless in the early 1800s. Well, Clueless is actually literally Emma. You get what I'm saying. The girls who know, the girls who get it, is so delightful. If I could describe it in one word, it's truly delightful. And if you haven't seen this, please watch it. It's so gorgeous to look at. Like, you can really, really just get lost in this film. One of my favorites, 5-star film. And the last film that I have for you guys today to talk about made me ugly cry, heaving sobs. This hit so many points for me in my soul as a massive fan of Shakespeare. I'm talking about Hamnet. Oh my god, I need to rewatch this immediately, actually. I have never had such a harrowing movie watching experience. I felt so seen in this film, and I'm not even a mother. Like, this really touches on motherhood, it really touches on grief in such a specific way and how we process that grief as individuals, and it touches on family and art and how we process our grief through art, through language, through poetry. Oh, it just did it for me. It did it for me. This is a 5-star film. It's perfect. It's truly wonderful. Paul Mescal as Shakespeare, Jessie Buckley, just phenomenal acting choices. If you didn't know, I wouldn't really call this a biopic per se, but it is based off of Shakespeare's life. Is about the creation of the play Hamlet, but it's also like where that originated from and how it was written after Shakespeare's son Hamnet passes away. But it's really more so, it's honestly less about Shakespeare and more so about his wife and her grief over her son and how she processes her grief differently than Shakespeare. And specifically, the last scene of this film is so imprinted in my head. I was just shaking my head with tears streaming down my face, and I just said to myself, like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I mean when I say performance and poetry and art is so necessary. It's just, it is emotion. It is emotion. It is grief. It is love. It is everything. This film was everything to me. As a spoken word poet, as a performer, as a Shakespeare fan, as a fan of art in general. What's her name? Agnes? Is it Agnes? Yeah. Her relationship with the earth as well. It just spoke to me on so many levels that I can't even fully explain. 5-star film, absolutely adored it, and I really, really, really want to rewatch this. And if you enjoy my poetry at all, or performing, or performance theater in general, like, please watch this, and you will feel so seen, perhaps, in your coping mechanisms. At least I felt really seen. Oh, I loved it so much. All right, this video is getting really, really long. Okay, so that's all the films. Now we're moving on to the music. What music was I listening to, dancing to the past few months. We have so much music to get through today. I made my little list here. Okay, first album I want to talk about is Death in the Business of Wailing by Rose. Speaking of just utter tears and sadness, I would describe this record as a true self-mythology record. If you enjoy Phoebe Bridgers, this is right up your alley. My favorite songs are Belly of the Whale, In Violet, and Dearly Missed. I had to be careful with this one. I love the mythology of it all. I really, really enjoyed the lyricism here. I thought it was very, very strong, but it's very, very sad. So I could not listen to this everyday type vibes. Honestly, I just thought it was so gorgeous, just so gorgeously created and constructed, just very, very depressing, so be warned. But yeah, for my Phoebe Bridgers, like boy genius lovers, you will love this one. Highly recommend for your sad girl times. Next album I want to talk about. This album is very tricky to me because I think it's so genius, but there is a handful of skips for me personally that I couldn't listen to on a daily basis, just because it goes a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? Not futuristic, but I guess a little too electronic for me, but I really want to dive into more of her discography. I'm talking about Julia Holter. I'm talking about her album Ecstasis. This album to me is so Grimes core. So like if you really like Grimes, you will probably really, really like this, but I think this is a little more something about it. It's not quite 100% Grimes. It's very like a lot of the instrument choices here almost feel like this beautiful mixture of futurism and something ancient, like something from something a long time ago. Like this is so Aquarius to me. This record is very Aquarius. I do have a handful of skips though. I don't like every song on this record, but the songs that I do like, I really, really love and have replayed a lot. I love the songs Four Gardens, Our Sorrows, Marion Bad. Gorgeous production. The production's amazing on this record. Yeah, I really need to dive into more of her stuff. I really, really recommend this if you like electronica, if you like futuristic type beats that are also very ethereal, good storytelling. I think you would really, really enjoy this. Next record, speaking of sad girls, our favorite sad girl, Mitski, dropped a new record. You guys know I was sat for this. I am a big, big fan of Mitski. I feel like I have a little bit of a controversial opinion with this record. I don't believe Mitski is capable of ever making a bad record. I enjoyed this record, but I will say this record has the most skips for me out of all of her all of her records previous, which I think is pretty wild. I'm talking about Nothing's About to Happen to Me. She's just so good. I don't know if she has like worms living in my brain or something, but like I just relate to her lyricism so much, specifically the song Cats on this record. I'm crying. As a girl with two cats who comfort her on her saddest days, I really relate to that song, I can't lie. I do think this is my least favorite Mitski record. Not to say that it's a bad record, okay? Don't put words in my mouth, okay? I still really enjoyed this record. I just don't think it's her best. I still think her magnum opus is her most previous record. I know a lot of people would say Be the Cowboy is her magnum opus. I think that I understand that take, but I am a personal fan of The Land is Inhospitable and So Are We. I think there was just a few choices made on this record that felt a little too familiar. Like, I don't think she really branched out enough on this record. Like, some of the songs maybe felt a little bit repetitive to some of her past works, but her past work is literally masterpieces, so can you complain? I would say I replayed the songs If I Leave and Dead Women the most. If I Leave is honestly a masterpiece. That's probably my favorite song on this record. I also want to quickly shout out one of my peers, Miss Ocean LeClaire, a friend of mine. She came out with a new single, Beam Me Into Space. Speaking of Aquarius anthems, I definitely think that this is also an Aquarius anthem. If you like 60s vintage type music, if you love, I would say if you love like Leonard Cohen or Lana Del Rey, you would really, really enjoy Ocean LeClaire. She's just a dear, dear friend of mine. She's so gorgeous and talented, and her vision is so strong and her songwriting is so strong. So I just wanted to give that song a shout out. And I loved her art direction for the visuals for this single. Super inspiring. An EP that I want to touch on, actually, that I found on TikTok, because she has gotten quite a lot of traction on TikTok. I'm talking about Erin LeCount, and I'm talking about her EP that just came out, Pareidolia. I hope I'm saying that right. I really enjoyed this record. I only have one skip on this EP. I've heard a lot of comparisons to Florence and the Machine, which I can see that. I don't think that's like exactly right though. I would say it's like Florence and the Machine, and Florence and the Machine was a lot more pop, but I get what they mean as far as the ethereal, magical, hard-hitting, emotional quality of it. Some of the production choices and the choices of instrumentation, I do see some of the comparisons to Florence and the Machine, but I also have seen people be like, this is better than Florence and the Machine. Which you're entitled to your opinions, but I'm sorry, you're wrong. Like, you're literally wrong. But this is a really good EP nonetheless. My favorite song is Don't You See Me Trying. Very strong lyricism, very strong vocals, incredible production. It's just not always my taste. Like, I think a few of the songs are a little too poppy for me, but I really appreciate her artistic vision and her dedication and incredible production skills for sure. I feel like she's gonna take over. Honestly, I feel like her rise is really here. Like, I feel like she's gonna get a lot more popular in the years to come. Call me an oracle, and if that's true, if she blows up and becomes the next big thing, then you can all come here and tell me that I was right. Next two records that I want to touch on are longtime favorites of mine, but I just revisited them recently. I want to talk about The Pink Opaque by Cocteau Twins. Okay, I'm a big fan of Cocteau Twins. I love Cocteau Twins, their entire discography. I have mostly been visiting this one. I don't know why, just feeling, I guess, drawn to it. It's one of their more popular records. I am obsessed with the song Musette and Drums. Something in my brain, I don't know why, maybe it's like because of TikTok and like all the edits on TikTok, or maybe it's just the nature of the art itself, but I connect Cocteau Twins with David Lynch in my mind. So like when I'm listening to Cocteau Twins, like I'm just like, I feel like I'm in David Lynch's mind, like, does that make sense? But when was the last time you really sat and listened to this record all the way through? I recommend it. And then the next record I have to talk about, you know, lately I just can't talk about an art I consumed video or have an art I consumed video without talking about Tori Amos, okay? This is the thing, and this is my truth. I truly believe that Tori Amos is not only the greatest, if not one of the greatest, if not the greatest songwriter of all time. She is truly a prodigy. She is truly a genius, okay? I'm talking about To Venus and Back. That's the record I'm talking about right now. It's a double-sided record. One side of the record is all covers. The other side of the record is just originals. This actually came out the year I was born, 1999. I just find her to be so underrated. Like, I don't think she's gotten, I mean, she's obviously like, has a huge fan base and is an icon, and like we all know this, but I feel like in my generation, maybe she will have her moment. Like, I feel like Kate Bush is like having her moment, like Mazzy Star had her moment, like these artists from the past that have had their moment with like younger people or people in Gen Z. I'm waiting on Tori Amos to have her moment because I feel like it just makes a lot of sense, and I feel like y'all are missing out. Like, if you don't listen to Tori Amos and you do love, you know, Fiona Apple or artists from the 90s or Kate Bush, like, you are truly missing out on such an amazing storyteller, such an amazing pianist. Like, her ability to write songs, and not just like write a lot of songs. Like, she has a lot of records. Mainly her records from the 90s are her best work. I think we can all agree on that. But her ability to write things, it's like she is the artist. Okay, this is the thing. She is the artist that when I listen to her music, I literally go, oh my God, I wish I wrote that. I wish I wrote that. That is so genius. Her musical arrangements, her production, I could go on and on. I really could go on and on and on and on and on. I could make a dedicated video, honestly, to how much I respect and love Tori Amos as an artist, how much she has influenced me as a writer. I just feel like she's just so genius, okay? You are missing out. Please, I literally beg in every video, please listen to Tori Amos. Please, please. You're missing out, okay? Please, my Tori Amos fans, make some noise in the comments. She has a song on this record called Datura, which is like 8 minutes long, and all of the lyrics are just her naming all of the plants in her garden and comparing it to her mental state. And Datura is actually a plant that is also a psychedelic. So the song itself is very psychedelic. Her later 90s records have this like psychedelic element to them, which I really, really love in music. And she's just so great. You know, she's coming to play in LA this August, and I'm absolutely gonna go. Like, I have to go. Like, this might be my only chance to see her live, okay? She's getting older, guys, okay? Okay, I really need to see her live so bad. Words cannot describe how genius this woman is and how much I love her. Anyway, moving on, we have so much more music to talk about. I really need to hurry it along here. I have 3 albums that I want to talk about that are all ambient, medieval inspired records. I told you guys this art list was very medieval, okay? Some are more like ambient rock leaning. First ambient record I want to talk about is by Fatima Al-Qadiri. I hope I'm saying that right. In her album Medieval Femme. This is like the most beautiful ambient meditation music. I've really loved putting this record on whenever I meditate or whenever I'm like doing divination or spell work. It is so atmospheric, otherworldly. Really, really recommend this record. If you like ambient records and if you like ethereal, otherworldly type records, then you'll really enjoy this. It's very calming. There's not a lot going on, but it's gorgeous, and I recommend it. Next record is by Anna von Hauswolf, and this is her record, The Miraculous. I also would really like to explore more of her discography because I really, really love this record. I've been returning to it a lot. Really love the song Discovery. I love the song An Oath. There's a lot of church organs in this. This is also, I want to compare it to Ethel Cain a little bit, but I also know they're friends. I'm pretty sure they're friends. I don't know where it was recorded, but I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was recorded in a church or in like some kind of historical building. Like, there's something about this that feels very historical and spiritual, and I really, really love it. And it's very like, there's so many moments on this record that really like take you on a journey and very much like punch you in the gut. Love it. Really just a fantastic 50 minutes of ambient, dark church music, question mark. And then I also want to talk about Ichiko Aoba. This is a Japanese ambient artist, ambient ethereal artist. And I'm talking about her record, Wind Swept Adan. This is not in English. None of this is in English, but I don't really need it to be in English because it's still gorgeous and really does take you to another place. I really love the songs Pilgrimage, Porcelain, Dawn in the Adan. Something about this also feels otherworldly in the sense of this feels kind of like fairy music, like mermaid music, very calming. I really enjoyed reading and putting this on in the background while I work at home and stuff like that. She also has a single that I really like called Asleep Among Endives. Just gorgeous. I feel like I'm in a foggy field of love. You'll like it. You should listen to it. And then I want to talk about 3 singles, the last 3 pieces of music I'm going to talk about today. First, I want to talk about Pixie McCann's Deja Vu. Pixie McCann is a very small artist that I found some months ago with her. The first single I found from her was called Moth. And I really, really enjoyed that, and I really, really enjoy her production style. I keep up with her, actually. Like, I keep up with her on TikTok because I find her production and her solo journey to just be really, really inspiring. Like, something about her just gives girlhood. Like, it just gives girlhood in the best way. I would compare this to, like, Billie Eilish, also very, like, Pixie Hollow, like, it's just giving girlhood. It gives teen girl, early 20s girl in the best way, and I really, really enjoyed this single from her, Deja Vu. It's great. You should check out Pixie McCann. Next, my camera's gonna die if I don't hurry this up. Next, I want to talk about Little Miss Cadaver. She had a new record, or a new single come out called City of God. very lingua ignota type, very harrowing piano, gorgeous, harrowing vocals, religious imagery, stunning, takes you on a journey. I really am rooting for her. I really love her music. I love her medieval take on things. Speaking of singles or music that was recorded in a church, I feel like this also kind of fits into that category, and I really, really recommend her. She's such a great lyricist and a great vocalist, and I really, really enjoy her world building. And then finally, we have Miss Kiki Rockwell. She came out with a new single called Vampire. Love. What else do I have to say about this? It's great. Her production is so good. Her storytelling is so good. Her string ensembles, and oh my god, she's just great. You guys know I love Kiki Rockwell so much. I love the lens of fantasy that she tells her stories through. I love her mythology, and that's just peppered throughout her discography, and this single was no disappointment. The music video was also super iconic. I love Kiki Rockwell. I don't know what else to really say about this other than I love her, and I've been listening to this single so much. Okay, my camera's gonna die. I love you guys so much. Thank you for chatting about all this art with me and the consumption, the creation, the things, all the things. We all live in this world in our heads, and this is mine. Okay, I love you so much, and I will see you the next time. Bye-bye.